Welcome back to all the danksters and dankettes. I decided to cut the intro video. One, it takes too long. And two, primarily, it's not that. It's because it keeps doubling down and like making a really bad sound. So because I'm using StreamYard, there's an issue with the way that Chrome is parsing the MP4 data for some reason. So until I figure that out, we're just going to get right into it. Today, welcome again. We're going to go through some very interesting things regarding Erika Kirk. I haven't talked about her directly in a little bit, and we are going to have to. They forced my hand, and yeah, so this is going to be interesting. I got to tell you, though, before we get into the Dankster debrief of the day, before we do any of that, let me add this at the bottom. Become a member if you'd like. So I need to kind of give you a 2-minute context of really what we are going to be talking about here, because the story is bigger than just one appointment or applying Erika Kirk to this position. All right. It's a lot bigger than that. There's a lot of history rooted in this. Okay. we're I need you to understand before we even go further why this is important and what you need to know about this. We are living through a moment in American history where the institutions that train people who fly planes, lead the troops, defend this country are being shaped or reshaped. The institutions themselves, okay, the bureaucracy themselves are being reshaped in real time, not through legislation, not through public voting. Okay, things are changing. All right, not through debate, public debate. They're doing it through quiet appointments, like you saw with Erika Kirk. This is just one. There's another one that I'm going to do a live stream on tomorrow. What's tomorrow? Wednesday, Thursday. Tomorrow is the Board of Peace. Well, where did this come from? Have you heard of this? We're going to stay tuned, because tomorrow we're talking about the Board of Peace. Today we're going to talk about the Board of Visitors. It's like all these boards all of a sudden. So, you know, we see slight weekend updates and a little bit of information here and there, but nothing that makes headlines until what seemingly is it's too late, right? We are living through that moment. You know, names that just appear with no announcement while you are watching football or basketball or some sport, or you're watching something on, if you watch old school television, like I don't even watch cable. My wife does. She watches like Spanish soap operas and all that, you know. And you know, my parents, they watch Dancing with the Stars, right? And you know, there might be but that's not even cable. They're watching it on video on demand. But you need to understand that, look, the history of the United States Air Force Academy, this show is about Erika Kirk being on the board of visitors appointed for the American Air Force Academy, all right, the United States Association Academy. So it's existed since 1954. It has produced astronauts, generals, believe it or not, secretaries of defense. And these officers also have flown, some of them, to combat missions in every major conflict that has been fought from this country since Korea, or since the 50s. It's not a think tank. It's not a political organization. It is the institution that produces the backbone of American power. And right now, it is losing its superintendent, its commandant of cadets, and its dean of faculty all at once. And at the exact same moment, a political appointed person landed on the advisory body that has a full physical access to that institution, their statutory rights to mandatory disclosure from the Secretary of the Air Force, and formal reporting obligations to the Secretary of Defense. Not only that, also both armed services committees as well. That matters because of it matters not because of who she was married to, but because of what the body does itself, what the timing is, and what the documents show about the family and the network behind the name. All right. This is not a political argument here that I'm trying to make today in this debrief. Um, I don't do hit pieces usually. I've done a little bit recently, but that's not really my thing. But the only reason I do them is because people don't put all the truth and the information out for the public. They decide to give us just a little bit, while there's a lot more behind the scenes. So this isn't a political hit piece. Again, I don't like that. I don't do those. This is more just primary sourcing, explaining to you statutes and how how government meetings and minutes matter when they're signed, and the corporate records applied, the 12-0 vote that documented email language. Okay. A calendar that tells a story nobody announced. This is what I do here. Receipts. All right. Questions where we do not have them, I ask, and I try to bring answers. Document things where I can and show it to the public, show it to all of you. If you're new here, please welcome, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share this with your people. Turn on your notifications. Let me know in the comments if you are getting notifications. Let me know in the chat if you got notified. How do you talk and watch the chat all at the same time? I'm very good, bro. I'm very, very good. I do everything. I've got chat here. I also have StreamYard here. I've got another chat here. I've got Rumble over here. I've got my browser here that I'm going to show you guys some stuff. We're crushing it right now. So we need to get this out to the public. We've got Rumble, danksterintel, X, danksterintel, YouTube, danksterintel. Soon we might be going live on Instagram as well. So make sure you're following us there, and you can join the Danksters by becoming a member for 99 cents in the join button here on YouTube. And you get Friday's members only live streams and access to the archive. Or you can join Patreon for $5 or more. And that's where the research is done. We had a 2-hour call this morning with about 10 of us in the group that were in the voice call. And we were talking about the Board of Peace and Trump and money. And it led to me making a post. I'll just show you the post. I might as well before we get started, just for funsies. So you can see how this creates, how the community works together. And how they kind of help shape how things operate for me. And this is a group effort. I run this channel, I make the decisions, but ultimately I get a lot of my information from the people in the group. I posted this just not too long ago. Where is it? This one right here. Yeah, I posted it from there. And this is what we're going to cover tomorrow. So today, if you want to stick around for Erika Kirk, and explaining the history of the Board of Visitors and the position that she's taking in the Air Force Academy. This is what today's going to be about. But then tomorrow, we're going to talk about President Trump, the Board of Peace, the history of the UN, and what all this means for the United Nations and America. So President Trump walked in to a building, and they named it after him. And his first thought was cash. I'm not kidding you. This is crazy. Listen, watch this as I show you this. I recorded this clip.
This building was built for peace, and nobody knew what to name it. And then Marco named it after me. I had nothing to do with it. I swear I didn't. I swear I had no idea. They said there's a surprise coming. I didn't know that surprise. I thought they were going to give me a lot of money or something, maybe cash. You can always use some extra cash.
The guy
came and they stopped the beautiful beast. I got out very safely, I'm sure, and looked up, and there it said Donald J. Trump on the building. And when I say that had nothing to do, nobody believes it, and that's okay, but I appreciated it. That was Marco and JD and a group got together and they did that, and I just thought it was very nice. Mostly leaders of Middle Eastern countries from all over the world. And they've been very generous with money also. And the United States, which I'll say in a moment, is also very generous with money. Because there's nothing more important than peace. And
that's our money. Okay,
nothing.
That's our money. Just so you know, if you're an American, that is our money. So we're gonna cover that tomorrow. I think that you might want to, like I said, hit the subscribe button, turn on the notifications for that. We're going to jump into today's story, though. It's going to be a doozy. Not a doozy, but it's going to be interesting, right? You picked a hell of a day to show up, because this is what I do. If you're new here, my live streams are about educating the public on current events' history and how they ended up getting to this point that we are today. That's what I do on my live streams. Okay. I show the receipts. I bring evidence of how we got somewhere. And today, whoa, that was strange. Today, we're talking about Erika Kirk. It's been a minute. So sometime over this past week, I think it was like the weekend of the 8th, a name appeared on United States government, their government website. There was no press release, no White House announcement, no ceremony, no statement from anybody, really. No headline in the national press, nothing. The name just appeared like it had always been there, like someone waited until most of the country was watching college sports and then quietly typed it into a federal database and hit save. And the name was Erika Kirk. And she had been placed on the board of visitors of the United States Air Force Academy. When reporters found out, they called the White House to confirm it, and the White House confirmed it, said, yeah. A reporter from The Hill asked, he or she asked a very simple follow-up question, really, in response to the confirmation, and said, when exactly was she appointed? When did this happen? Okay. The White House did not answer that. They wouldn't. They confirmed the appointment. They would not say when it occurred. I want you to sit with that. Okay. They would not answer when she was decided and appointed, the actual date, because that actually matters. The White House placed a woman on a federally mandated advisory board with full physical access to one of this country's premier military training institutions. And when asked what day it happened, they refused to say. The White House, Erika Kirk, the Air Force Academy, refused to answer the date. To me, that is not normal. Appointments to federal advisory bodies are public acts. They're public displays. They're public announcements. They generate press releases. Senators and congressmen put out a statement. The appointing officials say something. That is how this works. That is how it has always worked. Unless you do not want people to look too closely at something. Maybe it's timing. Maybe it's who it is. Maybe it's a reason. So the timing is the whole story. I need you to trust me on that right now. By the time we are done with this, the timing is going to hit you like a freight train. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So let me start at the beginning, and I'll tell you about the Board of Visitors. I have this link here. I think it's this one. Let me see. Well, this is the actual appointment, right? Trump appoints Erika Kirk. What is this?
Years or until a successor is chosen.
So this is whatever. So Trump appoints Erika Kirk to Air Force Academy board to continue Charlie's legacy. President Donald Trump has appointed Erika Kirk, widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk, to the Board of Visitors that's in charge of making U.S. Air Force Academy recommendations to the Secretary of War and the President. As of March 10th, Kirk is listed on the U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors website. All right. So let me see what this takes us to, actually. Board of Visitors. Appointed by the President, Erika Kirk. What does a vacant mean? She took a vacant slot. So let's talk about the thing that nobody knows, the body that really nobody pays. Or I'm sure people know about it, but whoa, my lighting. Let's talk about the Board of Visitors, okay? So, sorry about that. Most Americans have really never heard of this, the Board of Visitors, okay? 10 U.S. Code 9455. A board of visitors to the academy is constituted annually of the chair of the Committee of Armed Services or the designee of chair, the ranking member of the Committee on Armed Services of the Senate, the two other members of the Senate designated by the majority leader. I mean, there's all these things here. Okay, this is the code for the board of visitors. Now, most members of Congress probably could not describe it in detail, right? Most veterans don't even know it exists. And yet, it is one of the most strategically positioned advisory bodies in the United States for the entire federal government when you understand what it actually does. The Board of Visitors of the United States Air Force actually is a federally mandated advisory committee. It is not optional. It is not discretionary. Congress created it by statute that you see here, okay? So it's codified, and it says Title 10 of the United States Code, okay? So Title 10 of the United States Code, Section 9455. The most recent version was amended by the fiscal year of 2025, the National Defense Authorization Act. And it was signed into law December 23rd, 2024. So here's what it does. 17 members total. 6 are designated by the President of the United States. 3 are designated by the Speaker of the House. 1 by the House Minority Leader. 2 by the President pro tempore of the United States. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Tempore. It's not tempura like shrimp tempura. Definition law. Let's look it up. I'm stupid. So I told you I'm not that smart. Pro tempore. Oh, it's pro, so it's one word. Pro are 2 words, but one. In law, tempore is a Latin term primarily meaning in the time of. It is most frequently encountered as part of the phrase pro tempore. I'm going to put a poll up, and I'm going to ask you guys and girls, danksters and dankettes, do you know about the Board of Visitors? Let me pull up this code right here. Board of Visitors, I guess, USA Air Force Academy history. Let's just put, do you know about it? Yes or no? So poll is in the chat. Do you know about the Board of Visitors U.S. Air Force Academy? Yes or no? It's very simple. You could put also type it in the chat so I can see while I wait for the votes. Yes, no. I'll know what you're talking about. I would like to see it in the chat. That way I can see it right here on my screen, right here. So I'm going to explain it all to you, but I just want to know how much you guys actually know about it. We're going to go through it, all of it today. No. Okay. Keep going. I'd like to see as many people tell me as I can. I save my chats and stuff, so I review and see if there's any information there that will help with the future of content as well, just so you know. So anything that you do say that is beneficial to the stream or to the future of any stream, I definitely try to catch it. So these things matter. That's why I ask you to do them. It's not because I like to just tell you to do things like I'm a boss. No, it's because I want to see the data. Most people should know that it's federally mandated, and the president has a right to 6 designees or designations. So you have, like I said, 17, and then 6 from the president. You've got 3 designated by the Speaker of the House. You've got 1 by the House Minority Leader, 2 by the President pro tempore, okay, of the Senate, 1 by the Senate Majority Leader. You've got 1 by the Senate Minority Leader. 2 are chairs and ranking members of the relevant armed services subcommittees. The most powerful people in the United States government put people on this body. All right. So this is a bipartisan position here, bipartisan body. All right. Now, here's what makes it matter is the actual section that I pulled up, and we'll go through down to section D. Okay. Let me zoom in here. Section D right here. So we're gonna go through this. So This is what makes it matter, is section 9455D. Now let's read this together. The board shall visit the academy annually with the approval of the Secretary of the Air Force. The board or its members may make other visits to the academy in connection with the duties of the board or to consult with the superintendent of the academy. Board members shall have access to the academy grounds and the cadets, faculty, staff, and other personnel of the academy for the purposes of the duties of the board. All right. So full access, okay? Not a guided tour. I mean, think about it. Shall have access to the grounds and the cadets, faculty, staff, and other personnel of the academy for the purpose of the duties of the board? Full access, huh? Not a guided tour organized by the Public Affairs Office, not a carefully managed visit where they see what the academy wants them to see. You have full access, just like fully tethered to the situation. You know, it's a shall provide the board candid and the complete disclosure consistent with applicable law concerning disclosure of information with respect to institutional problems. The Secretary of the Air Force is legally required by statute to tell this board everything, every problem, every issue, candidly and completely. If you guys don't think TPUSA is rolling out a surveillance state operation to build control throughout whatever the hell they're doing and all the shows I've shown, I don't even think I've scraped the surface just a little bit. This is another part of the puzzle. It's another piece. Here, let's go to the USAFA, United States Air Force Academy. All right, Board of Visitors, BOV page, Standard of Excellence. The U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors is established under this code, Title 10, 9455. The board inquires into the morale, discipline, curriculum, instruction, physical equipment, fiscal affairs, financial affairs, academic methods, and other matters relating to the academy which the board decides to consider. Then it explains the membership and all of this. So this again, this is a mandatory position, and it's got all of these high-profile figures there. All right. You've got the names like Tommy Tuberville, Doug Nicolai, Dina Powell, Erika Kirk, all appointed by the president. These are senators. You got representatives and all kinds of stuff here. Okay. So the board prepares a semi-annual report submitted concurrently to the Secretary of Defense through the Secretary of the Air Force to the Committee of Armed Services of the Senate and the Committee on Armed Services of the House of Representatives. Twice a year this happens. 4 of the most powerful entities in the American national security apparatus, all receiving the same formal documentation from the same body at the same time. So let me be precise because I want to play this straight, right? The board is advisory. It cannot force changes. The USAFA, the United States Air Force Academy, Board of Visitors Member Handbook, publicly available on the Academy's website, you can go find it yourself, states that all, and I have a lot of links in the description, you can see what I've got there as well, states that all FACA committees are advisory and the agency is not required to accept the advice. They're not required. But if the president is like, say there's 6 people that the president wants an initiative like pushed through, and it's those 6 people, and then there's the other 11 people, what are they going to just say no? Like, no, screw you and Trump. Like, that, and I'm curious, actually, let's see here. I'm going to do this. This is something I wasn't thinking about doing. We're going to take this and I'm going to run this through the AI Google thing. I kind of like Google AI. I don't use it often, but only on the stream. tell me which side of the aisle politically these people are. I don't know. And how they are able to affect the decisions of this board and the overall outcomes of USAFA. If the president elected them or designated them. Okay. So the members appointed are political affiliations. Let's look here. Wright, Alabama, a staunch Republican. I think, are they all Republican? Maybe they are. Dan Clark, a motivational speaker with long-term ties. My wife, she calls me on the, hold on, let me answer my wife 1 second. Sorry about that. Okay, so motivational speaker, retired Air Force colonel who has frequently spoken to conservative Christian groups, served as deputy national security advisor. Okay. Influence and decision making. While the board of visitors is an advisory body and does not have the power to directly command the academy, wife calls you answer. You already know. You already know, honey buns. Yeah, what if it's important? We got kids. She's pregnant. Okay. So the board is legally mandated to require into the academy's morale, discipline, and curriculum. They provide independent advice and recommendations, policy recommendations, oversight of woke policies. Trump explicitly stated his intent to use these appointments to counter what he termed woke leftist ideologues within service academies. These members can use their oversight role to push for changes in social climate and academic instruction. The board may vote in internal matters, such as recommending honorary degrees. Specifically, there's been discussion regarding a posthumous honorary degree for Charlie. And we'll look into some of that. So, as you can see, there's a lot of political sway going on here. Okay. So, the thing about the advisory is that some people have it misunderstood. Advisory does not mean powerless, even though they can't force something. The Federal Advisory Committee Act governs how this body operates, but again, they're not powerless. Advisory means you have full access to the institution. The Secretary of the Air Force, full access, also has a statutory obligation to give you candid and complete disclosure about everything, all the problems, and your formal recommendation lands on that desk of the Secretary of Defense and both armed services committees twice a year. If you think that is a ceremonial gig with no real influence, I genuinely do not know what to tell you. Let's look at the charter. I have the project charter here. I think this is the charter. Let's see. Bylaws. Is that it? Yeah. Okay. Let's show this. So a project charter is something that you would create if you're like a project manager or in charge of creating projects. You would know what a charter is. Essentially, is that it tells you everything that's going to happen. It basically lays out the plan. It's like, say you start a business. I'm in the middle of doing a project charter right now for a company that I have launched and that I'm going into a contract for somebody else, for another company. So this company is building a project charter, and they're going to give it to me, and they're going to say, "Hey, Danks." They're not going to call me Danks. They call me by my name, Anthony. They say, "Hey, Anthony, okay, this is what we need done. I need you to send it back and tell us all the things that you're going to have to do in order to get this done, all the things that you're going to need, all the things you're going to buy, all the people involved, everything that you need comes back to us, and then they revise it, they send it back, and then I approve it, they approve it, and then we set a budget." Okay, so that's how a project charter in very short works. So this is the Board of Visitors Project Charter. Okay, this is their bylaws. Now, when we look at the bylaws, you see here, section 9455F, let's see. Well, this is the authority and purpose. So it goes through the articles. So it's got the purpose, the rules of the actual infrastructure of who's involved, like the memberships, the board of visitors. You've got the terms of service, okay, how all the terms work, like literally the terms of service, like literally, not like an internet application terms of service, like we're gonna use your camera. No. It's by law, the persons designated by the president serve for 3 years. Service time, terms of service, the length of service, each except that any member whose term of office shall expire. This service expectation, okay. The officers, the subcommittees, designated federal officer, the meetings, and then it goes into all the rules around the meetings, the agendas, the procedures, special meetings, all of this, minutes, detailed minutes of any meeting held by the board shall be. You can request minutes from Freedom of Information Act for nonprofits, for American government or federal positions, stuff like that. So minutes are really the votes, you know what I mean? And the situation that comes down to making decisions. Boards shall be kept by the executive secretary and shall contain a record of persons present and complete an accurate description of matters discussed and conclusions reached, if any, and copies of all reports received. Then you've got general information and so on. Okay. This was improved January 22nd, 2025, last year. All right. Now that I've kind of given you a briefing on that, really, when we're looking at this, you have to think, okay, well, looks like some pretty serious serious decisions being made here. Wouldn't you agree? Let's see. Now that you understand that, so what we're talking about, keep that in your head, okay? Because every time I say board of visitors for the rest of this debrief, I need you to remember full physical access to the institution with outlines and rules and guidelines and structure, okay? With terms and limits, and it's like it's a body. It's a body, okay? So mandatory candid disclosure is required from the Secretary of the Air Force to this body. So you can also think about it. I mean, I was thinking about how to explain it in a very simple way. You can almost think about it as even though it's a bureaucratic position where it wasn't voted in, like it would be great if it was just members of the community that were voted in by us. Maybe there was a national not even a campaign, just a vote. Like it could be anybody, I think that'd be kind of interesting. But you also need people that know about these situations, right? Things that need to be discussed in a intellectual manner, that understand what's going on so they can make proper decisions. So think about it in a way of like more of the public or more non-politician people. They shouldn't be, even though they are. I don't even know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying it would be nice if it was more general people instead of politicians that are appointed by the president, because it's just more power, more consolidated power of the people that he needs in place, instead of the opposite, where it should be us in power, us making the decisions, but it's not. And we're going to cover that tomorrow a lot. Now, they also have formal reports that go to the Pentagon and, again, the Armed Services Committees twice a year. So this is what was quietly given to the widow of Charlie Kirk over the weekend while we were not looking. I'm going to go through this section, the purge, really the rebuild, and who Trump put in, okay? And there's this thing here called Stripe. Let me see. Is this it? This is the member handbook, actually. This would be kind of cool to see. This is the member handbook. Close this. For members, thank you for agreeing to serve on a military service academy. So staff support, and this is their handbook. It's public. This stuff should be in the description. But yeah, conclusion. The Federal Advisory Committee Act. So this is the Federal Advisory Committee Act handbook. Actually, it's the BOV handbook, but this is from the FACA. Provides the structure for managing federal advisory committees and making them accessible to the public. The United States Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors, as a non-discretionary committee, is committed to enhancing public awareness and confidence. But I have this. Let's take a look at this. Stripes. Is this it? Oh, yeah, here it is. Stars and Stripes. Trump outs Service Academy's board members calling out leftist ideologies. February 10th, happens to be my birthday, 2025, Donald Trump posted on Truth Social. Let's see if we can find this on Truth Social. He announced he was ordering, let me see if I can find this. Air Force, show me the post. Show me the post. Show me the Truth Social post. See if we can find it. I like to show everything. I want you to see it all the receipts. Trump announced this. I don't know if we're going to be able. I went one time before. Truth Social post from Trump. Give link. I just want to see exactly what he said. Thank you. Welcome, Meow Mix. Oh, don't be a grumpy cat. You like this channel? Here it is. Is this it? Well, this is from Fox News, but whatever. Same thing. It's the same thing, so it doesn't matter really. Okay, whatever. I can't find the post. So this whole thing, it kind of listen to this article. What does this say?
Trump ousts Service Academy's board.
Oh no, some AI shit. All right. So his exact language, basically what he said is that what he posted on Truth Social, he announced he was ordering the immediate dismissal of boards of visitors for the Army, Air Force, Naval, and Coast Guard academies. His exact verbiage was that they had been, quote, infiltrated by woke leftist ideologues. And I don't know if that's true. I mean, is the military, I have no idea. I'm not involved in military action, military politics. Are they still woke leftists? I'm sure that was heavily infiltrated, right? But I don't know if they still are. I don't know. Now, I will be fair here because that is what we do. We be fair. We are fair. We give evidence, receipts. We tell the truth. Biden did this too. In September of 2021, the Biden White House sent letters to 18 Trump appointees across 3 service academy boards demanding their resignations by the close of business across 3 service academy boards. All right. It was like close of that business day. So, or they're going to face immediate termination. So Biden's press secretary said the goal was to ensure appointees were qualified and aligned with the values of the current administration. Biden's people included at that time Kellyanne Conway, Heidi Stirrup, and others from the Trump first admin in that term, Trump's first administration term. So the purge and replace cycle is a documented bipartisan pattern. If you want your people in power, that's how you do it. You just keep replacing. Now, this was done a year after Trump has been in office, but you know, there's other things. He's got all kinds of things he's doing now, obviously. War here, extract this guy here, and attack this, and blue da. It's like, bro, what in the, you know, I know a lot of people, I hear arguments about Valhalla VFT, but the guy has covered Donald Trump very well. And he's been very critical, but he's also been fair. And he's been very critical. I think Trump has gone back on almost everything he said, or not fulfilled almost everything he said. Either that or just flip-flopped. And to me, it appears, in my opinion, that he has made a decision that he's going to build an empirical legacy, an empire, and this is his last chance to do it in the office. He's accepted all this. This is a side note, but dude, the guy, man, imagine $400 million plane, $250 million from Miriam Adelson. This person taking money from that person. Bro, what happened to the America that you said you loved? What happened to the people you wanted to save? It's a disgrace. It's a disgrace. And then Wolves and Finance gives him a B. My goodness, bro. Now, we went through Biden. We went through that. This is bipartisan. Now, I'll show you the contrast. The Biden 2022 USAFA presidential appointee slated is actually archived in a full at the White House archive. Those appointees included Eric Fanning, the 22nd Secretary of the Army, of former acting Secretary of the Air Force, with 25 years of government service in Democratic and Republican administrative positions. They also included, we're talking about Biden in 2022. They also included Major General James Johnson, United States Air Force retired, 2-star. They included Dr. Laura Polzoni, former Deputy Under Secretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness. I promise I'm getting somewhere with this. And Director of the Institute of the National Strategic Studies and the National Defense University. They included Jenna Ben Yehuda, President of the Truman Center for National Policy. I don't know anything about any of these people, and honestly, that's not the point of this. So if anything, whatever, just think about that versus who we got Trump now putting in. All right, and I'll show you Biden White House announcements from back then. You can see all the people I just mentioned. Look at these titles. Okay. Does it say the titles? It doesn't. I guess it does here. President and CEO of Truman Center for National Policy and Security. Chief Executive Officer at the Aerospace Industries Association. This is Biden back in 22. Senior Executive in Logistics for, what did I have? I had him for James Johnson. Here he is. Where is he at? How did I lose it? Well, either way. United States Air Force. Okay. So these are major leadership roles. Polzoni, Director of the Institute of National Strategic Studies, Science and Technology for Hilla Levy. Okay. Just to give you an idea. A former Secretary of the Army, a retired 2-star general, a former Director, Deputy Under Secretary of Defense, people who had spent decades building expertise in the institutions that they were asked to advise. Okay. Decades, multiple decades. Now, here is Trump putting in, after his February 2025 purge, Air and Space Forces magazine covered the rebuild. Like they cover the rebuild on their website. 5 new USAFA presidential appointees. Doug Nicolai, retired Air Force colonel, a pilot. USAFA class of 1989 graduate. He's the only one of the 5 with a direct institutional connection to the academy. So you need these. The reason why I said earlier that it would be nice if we could have someone like a pilot, somebody that's just a normal plain Jane person that could help make decisions, but you need to know institutional policy. So it wouldn't work that way. It wouldn't benefit the United States people in a way of actually passing good policy. All right. It might help the American people feel comfortable, but that doesn't actually create safety. Okay. So you do need strength in position. Okay. However, you've got who we got now today. So we can go back to the site and see who he's appointed today. All right. Again, we've got these people here, and I'll just continue on. Senator Tommy Tuberville of Alabama, Dina Powell, former Deputy National Security Advisor for Strategy in Trump's first term, Dan Clark, a motivational speaker whose primary claim to fame is a viral video of a speech he gave to a hockey team. Let me find this video. Let's go to YouTube. And then let's find that video. I have no idea. So these are the people that he's putting in place. It's almost like a redo of Kash Patel and Dan Bongina. Is this it? 10 minutes? Can we get a short version of it? Let's see. Dan Clark, motivational hockey speech. Can we get it? I mean, is this it? We could see what this is.
He's Dan Clark. He's changing the world, one story at a time.
Whenever we face a tough time, no one ever hits rock bottom. We hit rock foundation. We hit rock belief. We hit the core values on which we were raised. The words we choose to describe beliefs are what actually change and up-level our performance.
This first one is a self-help book by Dan Clark. Dan broke his neck twice and fractured 2 vertebrae in his back, broke his nose, left arm, both thumbs, hands, and little fingers.
We're going to think. We're definitely going to feel and perhaps even shed some tears, and we're definitely going to laugh out loud because of my crazy illustrations that I use to illuminate profound principles of truth.
You know who these people are? Is they're snake oil salesmen. I'm not saying I know who he is or any of that. All I'm saying is motivational speakers, they lose themselves because they're looked to as gods. They're idolized. You know, I think that when you look at the likes of somebody, you know, Patrick Bet-David, you can see it happening. He was just a chill dude doing finance and stuff. He wasn't too overly involved in politics and stuff. I've been watching him for 15 years on YouTube. When he first started his first video, if you look at Patrick Bet-David first videos and how much he's changed. Really, he was always about money and stuff like that, but he was more about educating people on how to get money, right? And it was the money game, doubling your money. Let me see if I can show you, and you'll see how much he changed. How to play money game, doubling your money, PBD. Let me see if I can find that clip. I mean, here's the long version. I'll just show you a piece of it.
So recently I shot a video called 20 Rules of Money, and one of the rules in that video was learning how to double your money. And people said, Pat, we need a standalone video. Shot this video titled How to Double Your Money. So before I actually get into talking about different ways of investments and how they double and what doubles this and what rate of return, all this other stuff, let me first talk to you about the biggest problem most people are facing when it comes down to trying to double their money. You know what it is? They don't have enough money. That's the problem.
Okay,
here's a stat for you.
This is actually a good video. It helped me understand things way back then. This was a long time ago. This is probably 12 to 15 years ago. But then he goes and he has started doing these events, which I attended event. That was when he lost me, is when I attended the event, because I saw how he was so caught up in the idealization of people idolizing him. When he got out of the car, he pulled up in this fancy ass car, Mercedes or so, I forget what kind of roll. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention to the car. I was looking at the crowd of people like chanting and like he was some like messiah, bro. The guy is just a Persian dude. Like he's like me, you know, but he thinks that he got Trump elected because he got him on Joe Rogan. I mean, the guy so you see he's becoming a motivator. You're going to see, you'll remember this conversation in 10 years when he's doing motivational speaking. I'm telling you, he's having, who's the most famous guy that he has all the time? He has Tony Robbins at PBD event. It's called, he had him at, was it this event?
And so I decided, I met with the head of the food.
But he was at an event that I went to, but The Rock was at one. So you see these guys, The Rock, Tony Robbins, PBD, Jordan Peterson, they lose themselves in this idea. So that's and it's a long side note to who we started off looking at, which was this guy, right? The motivational speaker dude. David, whoever. Dan Clark. Okay. So a motivational speaker at a position like that, I'm not so sure about. Why? Why do you have a podcaster who was an ex-CIA agent like Dan Bongina go over to the FBI, and then he couldn't even make it a year. You've got Kash Patel, another half-baked loser. It's like these appointments are made on purpose, all right? They're made for a reason, and I think that people need to stop closing their eyes to the things that being appointed means to the political White House, to the White House, to Trump, and how this affects America. How has Kash Patel and Bongina affected the United States? Pam Bondi, don't even get me started on Pam. How has those appointed officials, their appointees, this bureaucracy by the president, do you think that they put a 1 in the chat if you think that they have benefited the United States? Put a 2 in the chat if you think that they have not benefited the United States. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi. I almost said Pam Bongina. Have they benefited us? 1, yes. 2, no. Pam Bondi, Kash Patel, and Bongina. I think everyone, give your honest opinion. I'd like to know. So we're looking at this again with the board of visitors in the United States Air Force Association. All right. So again, Doug Nicolai, Tommy Tuberville, all the people, Dan Clark, motivational speaker, and then the wife of Charlie Kirk, never served a single day in the United States military. Okay. But they actually, I am pretty sure they appointed Charlie Kirk first, founder of the Turning Point USA, who had never served a single day. I think that they actually sent him first. I am almost sure of it. And this is where I think that people are missing something here. Charlie Kirk attended exactly 1 board of visitors meeting back on August 7th. Okay. I have this here. It's the BOV committee meeting minutes. All right. Let me see if I can find this. Is he in here? Mr. Kirk. Okay. So the minutes actually is recording everything that happened in the entire, with all the remarks, everything like that. Okay. I don't know what just popped up on my screen here. I don't like that. When you start seeing McAfee on your computer, you need to watch out. So Charlie Kirk, Mr. Kirk questioned, echoed the same sentiment as Mr. Nicolai. So before Erika Kirk, it was actually Charlie Kirk, you guys. Charlie Kirk attended this meeting. He's all over the minutes. Look in here. I just keep going through and showing. He asked for the USAFA staff to explain how they are following for the president and SecDef's directives. Kirk asked how much was found. Kirk asked if the athletics department. Kirk asked. Kirk said. He's in here 22 times. Kirk added. Kirk acknowledged. Kirk pointed out the positives. Okay. You want to talk about intriguing? This is intriguing. This is why we do our research, because you never know what you're going to find. That is a documented fact. He was there, documented in the freaking minutes. All right. 22 times his name. All right. I went through this already, and you can see this is a publicly available PDF directly on the Air Force Academy website. These are official government documents, signed, time-stamped, public record. I'm showing you right here. Okay. According to the signed minutes, Kirk asked the Academy staff, and I'll just show you the top of this and see what this is. All right. He asked the Academy staff to explain how they're going to follow the president and the Secretary of Defense's directives on critical race theory and the DEI in the curriculum. Okay. He pressed on, let me know in the chat here. I'm going to put a poll up. Let's end the poll. So no, 79% said no, 300 votes. Let's do another poll. Did you know that Charlie Kirk was involved in USA Air Force politics? Yes or no? In the chat and in the comments. I mean, in the poll. So again, he was in the minutes. Okay. Kirk asked a lot of different things. The superintendent actually told him 2 courses, 10 to 12 readings, and additional administrative actions are already underway. When he pressed on how many non-compliant courses were found, went through and looked through it. There's a lot of non-compliance courses. Why would you have non-compliance courses? What are you doing here? And then so Kirk pressed them on that and asked whether physical fitness standards for males, also females, were being equalized. So physical fitness standards for males and females were being equalized. He raised race as a factor in admissions. He brought up the Academy Chapel renovation timeline, complaining that the original chapel only took 2 years to build in the early 1960s, but the current renovation is projected at 9 years. 9 years to do a renovation of a chapel. So not systems, not readiness, not the dean of faculty vacancy that the board's own previous semi-annual report had called upon the most pressing issue facing the institution, not the triple leadership transition that was already in progress, DEI courses, fitness standards, chapel timelines. And then Charlie Kirk said this in the official minutes of a federal advisory committee. He said, quote, let me find this quote right here. We want America. So this is Charlie Kirk speaking here. Mr. Kirk thanked the USA staff. His advice to USAFA, based on his time with the cadets, is that when you make dramatic changes, you do not strip the connective tissue of tradition alongside it. Cadets need to feel connected to those who came before them to maintain the unbroken chain of excellence. We need to educate the cadets towards being something, towards being a warrior. But for what? We want them, after 4 years, to be able to articulate and feel in their soul American exceptionalism. What are they willing to die for, and what is the Constitution they are swearing an oath to? We want them to be on fire because good leaders can articulate the why. After the cadets graduate, we want to see them advocate for the success of the institution and not just a tool for the military. To be able to explain why we are fighting so hard and why we are sacrificing. We want America to dominate this century, and we can't do that without knowing what we are and who we are. It is imperative that these cadets know that we are the greatest nation ever, that they are here to understand the beauty of this country. He thanked the USAFA again for their time and their transparency. Mr. Kirk. Okay? Mr. Now, that is the signed official government minutes at usafa.edu, a federal record. That was his one meeting, his only meeting. 34 days later, on September 10th, Charlie Kirk was shot and killed. And I'll just bring this up because I should. So I'm going to be straightforward with you about this here. What happened on September 10th is documented fact. All right. We've seen the fact that whatever has happened here, however, it's not being presented to us. Somebody's not being truthful. Actually, everybody seems to be dishonest. All right. Robinson is being charged with aggravated murder. Prosecutors sought the death penalty. This is what we're looking at. Okay. The country has been in shock. It's 6 months later. Someone pointed out yesterday. Did you realize it's been 6 months? So whatever you think of Charlie Kirk politically, a 31-year-old man, husband, father, was shot and killed on American soil while exercising his First Amendment rights. That is a tragedy by any measure. And I have said this from day one. And I didn't know Charlie Kirk before. I never watched him before. I saw him once on Patrick Bet David because I do watch that show to get information about what they're thinking, who they're talking to, and what political things are going on. So I did watch that. That's it. I didn't know who Charlie Kirk was really. I'd heard about him, and that's it. So I've never claimed that. I want to be very clear. I got into this because I saw that there was a hole that needed to be filled. Wolves in Finance started reviewing some of their finances, but I saw that there was a lot more that needed to be done. So I went in, and that's where I got my start on digging deeper into TPUSA. It was that. So that's when I started familiarizing myself. Since then, I've watched every single theory, everything. I've seen everything from this case. Every single thing that anybody else has seen, I've seen it. So Trump awarded Kirk the Presidential Medal of Freedom posthumously. Okay. That was on October 14th, after his death at the Rose Garden. Erika Kirk received it on his behalf. And I have a link here. Erika Kirk, 36-year-old CEO of TPUSA, who has 3 degrees, 2 kids, and a clothing brand. 4 days after her husband was shot and killed. Okay. 8 days after her husband's assassination, on the 18th, she was unanimously elected CEO and board chair of Turning Point USA by its board of directors. She took over an approximately $80 million organization at the time, although there's a lot more money going in and out. She had no prior executive management experience except for the nonprofit that she had, I guess you could say, when she was younger, when she was still like going to Romania and doing all that we know of. So besides that, she really doesn't have anything. Maybe this clothing company, the whatever clothing company she has, which I think that website has been recycled. Somebody showed Travis Nilo or something like that on X. So how serious is she about these businesses? What management experience at any major organization size of TPUSA or complexity of TPUSA with as many branches out and depth of TPUSA? She doesn't have it. She had described herself as a stay-at-home mom before the events of September 10th. The Fortune profile that was put out on her, is also basically reflecting the very same thing. Okay. Now the statute, if we go to Cornell and we look at the statute here, you can see, my camera's blurry. Let me fix that. If we look at the statute, okay, let me find the particular section here. C1. C right here. C, is that it? C1. If a member of the board dies or resigns or is terminated, a successor shall be designated for the unexpired portion of the term by the official who designated the member. Okay. When a member of the board is subject to termination from board membership, the board, is that it? No. I have it somewhere in here. I have it in my notes. 9455C1. It's somewhere in here. Let me find the board dies or resigns. Is it here? Oh, okay. I was in the wrong section. If a member of the board dies or resigns or is terminated, a successor shall be designated for the unexpired portion of the term. So let's go to the Google thing right here. Can I look at the history? Let me see if I can refresh it here. Okay. Explain to me Erika Kirk being placed in this position, how she got it as BOV USAFA. Erika Kirk was appointed on March 10th. Her appointment specifically fills the vacancy left by her late husband. So it's not an automatic presumption. Like, you don't just assume the position because he died, okay? Her appointment follows the specific statutory guidelines for filling board vacancies. Succession provision. If a member of the board dies, a successor must be designated for the unexpired portion of the term by the officials. So Charlie Kirk was already in that position, okay? Or designated for that position. Presidential authority. Because Charlie Kirk was one of the 6 members designated by the president, Uh-oh. One of the 6 members, where was I at? President Trump. Okay, yeah. Because Charlie Kirk was one of the 6 members designated by the president, President Trump exercised his authority to name Erika Kirk as the successor to complete the remainder of the 3-year term. Did you know that? The White House and board leadership framed her appointment as a way to continue the legacy of her husband's work. The board's chair, Representative August Pfluger, stated that Erika was the right person to fill Charlie's place and had supported her appointment months prior to the official announcement. So they had this planned at least months prior. They didn't want to say when, but they had this planned already. Spokesman Olivia Wales confirmed the choice, calling her a fearless advocate for elite air power and noting her background as the current CEO. Noted her background as the CEO of TPUSA? What background, bro? Serious? Let's see. What is the typical process for designating members? The process for designating members, which splits the 15-member designated process, the president typically selects these members based on their background in military service, education, or public leadership requirements. At least 2 of the 6 presidential appointees must be graduates of the academy. Term length. These members served fixed 3-year terms. If a member's term expires, they continue to serve until a successor is named. Vacancy filled. If a member dies or resigns, the president designates a successor to serve the unexpired portion of the specific term. I think we need to get that out there. This information needs to go out. So please like and subscribe and hit that notification. Share it. Post it on X. I have a stream going on X. I'll put it in the chat. Let's get some people up in here. All right. Because we need to let people know who the hell this person is. As if we don't know already. But let me put it in the comments. And I'll pin it on my YouTube. And share that. Repost it. Let's get some eyes on this thing. All right. Let's keep going. Where are we at? Where was I at here? Oh, I was on the Google thing, huh? So out of the people, you must have 2 U.S. Air Force Academy graduates. So you do have the pilot, right? And I think you have the other guy who is Doug Nikolai, I believe. So let's take a look. Do these people fulfill the needs of those requirements for appointee? So total count 6 designated. 2 of these 6 must be graduates of the academy. Doug Nikolai fulfills the graduate requirement. And vacancy. 6 unfulfilled seat must be filled. USA, at least 2. Doug Nikolai. So right now, you only have 1 person who fills that gap. So he's got to fill 1 more position that's vacant. Erika Kirk, Dan Clark, Dina Powell. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. So let's keep an eye on this and see who they end up putting there. So now we know more. We're learning a lot more. Okay. That's why we do these live streams. Again, Charlie Kirk was designated by the President of the United States. When Charlie Kirk died, the statute required that his replacement be designated by the same official who appointed him. Not a committee, not the academy, not Congress, not the board itself, not presumption, the president. President Trump appointed Charlie. Trump picks who fills that seat. There's no ambiguity. The law is written in plain English. So when Trump designated Erika Kirk as the replacement for her assassinated husband, it was a legal permission. The statute permits it. But legal and appropriate are still 2 very different things. And what we need to understand is who she is and what the timing of this appointment actually means before I'm done here. Okay? What's up, Reggie? Pizza Lips. I call you Reggie. Reginator. This is the part most outlets haven't discussed or seems to have missed, is that while most people are covering the Erika Kirk appointment focused on the optics, widow fills late husband's seat, nice story, easy headline, keep it moving. What they did not tell you is that what happened at the Air Force Academy Association of Graduates in the weeks before this appointment. And that story changes everything. Remember I said timing. If you've been here since the beginning, I said timing is going to be everything in this story. Remember what I said about timing. Timing is everything in the story. So let's look at the, do I have this? Yeah, here we go. So you might have seen this picture. First, I'm going to open up the picture. Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this picture before. Have you seen this picture? Put a 1 in the chat if you've seen this picture. I know a lot of people have seen Charlie Kirk pictures. So this picture I've seen a lot of. I didn't know where it was from. Now, it's a great picture of Charlie. It's a very recent picture of Charlie. A lot of us must have seen it. Yeah. So I see a lot of you seen it. Okay. Well, this picture comes from Special Charlie Kirk Honorary Recognition withdrawn by Air Force Academy Board. And it's from this article. Efforts by some encouraging the U.S. Air Force Academy to posthumously honor former conservative commentator and Turning Point USA founder Charlie Kirk were rejected on Friday, according to the nonprofit membership. Kirk was fatally shot in the neck while speaking, this and so on. Okay. One of the motions recommended that the U.S. Air Force Academy seek the authority to posthumously award an honorary degree to Kirk, who was serving as a presidential appointee to the Academy Board of Visitors at the time of his death. He was serving as a presidential appointee to the Academy Board of Visitors at the time of his death. Another motion sought to recognize Mr. Kirk as an honorary member of the Associates of Graduates. Both motions were introduced by individual board members. The motions were reportedly introduced by Lieutenant General Rod Bishop, a retired Air Force veteran, and Air Force veteran Marty France. Kirk has no long record of service to USAFA. France wrote on his Substack on October 16th. What he does have is long record of racist and sexist statements, though. These are well documented on thousands of sites and not worth rehashing. Probably the most galling to USAFA graduates, though, are his comments about seeing a black pilot in the cockpit of an airliner. If I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified. And to be fair, if you see the clip of Charlie Kirk saying that, he's actually speaking because they actually changed the test scores. The actual tests themselves were different for blacks, African Americans, than whites. Apparently, that's what he was talking about, right? So, and then he says that's a funny statement coming from someone who had no qualifications to be a member of the USAFA Board of Visitors, overseeing an institution that has probably produced more qualified pilots of all races than any other school in the nation. His comments about women and other minorities, Muslims, and the LGBTQ plus communities are just as bad and well documented. France told military.com that bylaws stipulate that somebody can only be nominated twice for votes. They may try again, but I am confident they'll lose, he said. So this was on October 17th, 2025. So let's back up. After Charlie Kirk was assassinated, there was a movement within certain circles to honor him at the Air Force Academy. On October 17th, retired Lieutenant General Rod Bishop, a USAFA graduate and board member of the Association of Graduates, introduced 3 motions. Motion 1, grant Charlie Kirk honorary AOG membership. Motion 2, recommend the Academy seek authority to posthumously award Kirk an honorary degree. And motion 3, find some general way to recognize him. Now, I need you to understand, let me have some water. I need you to understand something about that motion on motion 2 and why it is kind of extraordinary. If you're new here, you might want to back up and watch from the beginning, or at least go back at the end. Hit the like, hit the subscribe. We got to get more eyes on this. And my channel is all about this type of content, showing the truth, showing the history as well. Now, about that motion too, all right? The United States Air Force Academy has granted exactly one honorary degree in its entire history. Just one. And that was President John Fitzgerald Kennedy in 1963, when he delivered the commencement address. The President of the United States, all right? Think about that. Only one. So when they're asking for this, you've got a president, and that's the only person delivering that 63 address. Here, this one right here. Could probably do I think it was the peace speech, the commencement speech, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, this one.
It is with great pride that I participate in this ceremony of the American University, sponsored by the Methodist Church, founded by Bishop John Fletcher Hurst, and first opened by President Woodrow Wilson in 1914. This is a young and growing university, but it has already fulfilled Bishop Hurst's enlightened hope for the study of history and public affairs in a city devoted to the making of history and to the conduct of the public's business.
So that is the one time that they've done this, okay? In the entire history of their institution, and the motion was to give the second honorary degree ever awarded in the Academy's history to a conservative media personality who attended one board meeting, never wore a military uniform, and was rejected by West Point. Did you know that? That is not me editorializing anything. That's just documented fact, okay? The graduate community exploded. Several hundred contacts from USAFA graduates, parents, members, families flooded the AOG within hours. One graduate turned in his class ring in protest. Retired Brigadier General Marty France, one that I just told you about earlier, he actually was a former head of the Department of Astronautics of the USAFA, organized the opposition among alumni. You can read his analysis on Substack if you type in Marty France Substack, maybe Charlie Kirk. Actually, I have it here. Let me show you. Because we're about receipts. Evidence. Evidence. I love me some evidence. Marty France Substack. Okay. U.S. Air Force Academy slides towards partisanship and authoritarianism. Turning Point USA, Charlie Kirk, the Association of Graduates, and my alma mater. It's right here. I'll put it in the chat once. You guys can check it out. All right. So motions 1 and 2 were withdrawn. Bishop said he was pressured to withdraw them. The honorary degree proposal ultimately was dead until it came back. And then you have the AOG board update, which is, I think, right here. Let me see. Yeah. Yeah, AOG board update. New Association of Graduates board update. All right. Now, on February 19th, the Association of Graduates Board of Directors held a meeting, and they voted. The vote was 12-0 with 0 absentations. That is an overwhelming majority. And the motion language documented in the AOG email and obtained by KOAA TV in Colorado Springs reads as follows. After collecting inputs from some graduates and hearing from our CEO, Director Bishop moves and Director Krauth seconds, so they moved and made a decision and Krauth seconded it, that the AOG board refer to the Board of Visitors and we defer to their judgment on the recognition of Charlie Kirk. This is like this big issue that's going on behind the scenes that we don't hear about. They punted 12-0 After getting hundreds of angry contacts from alumni the first time around, after motions 1 and 2 being completely withdrawn under pressure, after a brigadier general organizing formal opposition, the AOG board reconvened 4 months later and voted 12-0 to put their entire question of posthumous recognition for Charlie Kirk in the hands of the Board of Visitors. 12-0. And then, approximately 10 days later, Erika Kirk's name appeared on the Board of Visitors website. So, let's show you this so you can see the appointment. Should pull us there, maybe. Let me see if I can do it without all of this stuff. That and this. Erika Kirk. Let me see. Kirk appointment. Will that pull it up? Yeah. So this is the official Fox News appointment. This is, 11 minutes? We could probably find one shorter. Let me see. We go to YouTube. Are we learning? Put a 1 in the chat if you're put a W in the chat if you are learning today. W in the chat if you are grateful to be learning today on this channel. Here we go. 17 hours ago.
Erika Kirk has been named to an Air Force.
Oh, I need news. Let's just look at Fox News, shall we? Fox News. There we go. 2 minutes.
Well, welcome back. We are learning that President Trump has appointed Erika Kirk to the Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors.
Kirk will take over her late husband's position, that is conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The board gives recommendations for changes to the Air Force Academy, also provides an annual report to the Institute's morale, academics, and financial state. So the board consists of 16 members, including Trump's newest pick for Secretary of Homeland Security, Senator Markwayne Mullin, a spokesperson for the White House, saying in a statement that Erika will continue her husband's legacy and be a fearless advocate for the academy.
Let's take a look, I should say, at some business headlines.
So, there you go. Announced, just like real brief and quick, like nobody's gonna notice. Nobody's gonna notice this shit, bro. Let's just drop a bomb and move the hell on. Yep. Trump appointed Erika Kirk to Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. Here's what the role entails. My goodness, bro. Is this his new wife? What do you think? Or daughter? I heard that some people are claiming that's his daughter. Erika Kirk has been appointed to the Air Force. Oh, Zach Costello, he did a good show yesterday. I watched it. Brett Booth shouted out the website, americansfortransparency.org. But yeah, Zach Costello, Erika Kirk has been appointed to the Air Force Academy board, where she will help advise the Defense Department on issues affecting the academy. What in the actual hell are we doing? Well, I wonder if anyone will share this with him, because he needs to know all the history of this. All right. So this is in short, this claim was true. White House spokesperson Olivia Wales confirmed to Snopes that Trump selected Kirk to serve in the same board seat previously occupied by her husband. So some people might have been under the assumption that, oh, well, she gets it because he died. No, it doesn't work like that. So AOG voted February 19th to refer to the Charlie Kirk honor question to the Board of Visitors. And then 10 days later, Charlie Kirk's widow was placed on the Board of Visitors. What in the actual fuck is going on here? What in the hell is going on? You can't make this up. I showed you, and it's documented fact on this timeline. Primary sourcing, public records, the AOG's own email, the USAFA's website, the White House confirmation, February 19th, plus 10 days. That is the calendar. This is not coincidental manufacturing. This is a sequence that happens in the real world, and nobody in mainstream media is talking about it. And if they do, they breach past it, brief through it so quickly, it's like it never even happened. Okay, so let's talk about the conflict of interest. So let me walk you through how this appointment actually happened, because the mechanics matter as much as the timing. Sometime over the weekend of March 8th, this past weekend, Erika Kirk's name appeared on the USAFA Board of Visitors page of usafa.edu. And I want to be precise about this because the Academy's own website records this. There was no White House press release issued, no official announcement from the Department of the Air Force, no Academy statement, no ceremony. Her name was just planted there, typed there, saved there on the weekend when most people are not paying attention to government websites. Well, not everybody, not most people. I guess this statement that I said is right. Not most people. I'm not most people. KOAA, the NBC affiliate in Colorado Springs, which is the city where the Air Force Academy is located. Okay. They are located in Colorado Springs, and they were the first outlet to report on this. So KOAA, NBC, KOAA TV, Erika Kirk, Board of Visitors. They were the first group or whatever. KOAA.
Here's the story.
This is the first mention publicly besides the website quietly putting it there. Look at the first comment. Was what are her qualifications for that?
Here's the story you'll see first here on KOAA. Erika Kirk, the widow of the late conservative activist Charlie Kirk, appears to have been appointed to the Air Force Academy Board of Visitors by President Trump. Her name was quietly added over the weekend to the board's website. The congressionally mandated Board of Visitors serves as a type of oversight committee that makes recommendations about the Air Force Academy to the Defense Secretary. Charlie Kirk was appointed by President Trump a year ago and attended an August meeting just weeks before his assassination. Erika Kirk's appointment comes as the Board of Visitors might be taking up the issue of recommending Charlie Kirk for an honorary degree, a controversial move that brought massive blowback in October when the Academy's Association of Graduates considered the measure. The association ultimately withdrew the motion and then in February recommended that the Board of Visitors consider it instead.
They withdrew the motion and then you can't make this up, man. This is so wild. And what's crazy is this KOAA TV station in Colorado Springs is located 11 miles from the Academy's front gate. They cover this institution every single day. And even they found out because somebody noticed the name on the website. Nobody told them. They found out on the website, not because anyone announced it to them or said, hey, can you put this out? No, they had to find it on the website. So they pay attention to this stuff daily. If not, I wonder when we would have found out about this. Wouldn't that be interesting if nobody covered it, if there wasn't a TV station that covers them daily? What do you think about that? They're hiding something from us. Why would they hide that from us? So we should be grateful, actually, for this. I'll give them a thumbs up because you know what? They covered something that nobody else was willing to talk about or wanted to talk about. Kudos to them, man. I mean, hey, they cover this. I'm not big on media like that, but they did their thing and they're putting out important, pertinent information, not hiding it like a lot of other people. It's just wild to me. The White House confirmed it only because reporters asked after that aired. Okay. When the Hill asked exactly when she had been named and why, the White House declined to provide any data or anything, any specifics. And I'll say this again, because I want you to feel the weight of this. When a reporter, after seeing this report that I just showed you, asked a basic factual question of when a presidential appointment to a federal advisory body occurred, the White House refused to answer. They confirmed it happened. They would not say when, what, why, or how. White House spokeswoman Olivia Wales, I mentioned her a few times already, issued a statement saying President Trump made the perfect choice in appointing Erika Kirk. Let's see if we can find that. Olivia Wales, Erika Kirk appointment. Here it is. Let's see. Do they put it here? Olivia Wells makes statement. Do they have it recorded?
Erika Kirk has been named to an Air Force board. President Donald Trump tapped the widow of conservative activist Charlie Kirk to join the U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. The group makes Air Force Academy recommendations to the president and the defense secretary. Ms. Kirk holds one of 6.
Yeah, I mean, I want to see if I can find that statement. I thought I had it here. Olivia Wales doesn't have it. Is there an article or anywhere where? So it was with the reporters on. Okay, so The Hill. Olivia Wells said in the statement. Let's find Olivia. Here it is. Olivia. Okay, so White House spokesperson Olivia Wells said in the statement, Erika Kirk will continue his legacy and will be a fearless advocate for the most elite air power force in the history of the world, whose warriors keep our nation safe, strong, and free. I don't know. I think this is all very, very interesting. The Air Force Academy didn't immediately respond to a request for comment. Erika is the right person to fill Charlie's place on the board and continue his work of inspiring the next generation of service members and advancing the Academy. I look forward to working alongside her to carry on Charlie's legacy. Interesting. So that's the spokesperson of the White House, Olivia Wales. My goodness. So that is the entire White House statement on the appointment of a woman with no military background that we know of, no defense policy experience, no connection to the Air Force Academy whatsoever, or to the advisory body with any connectivity at all. And then with full physical access to it all of a sudden. One sentence about legacy and advocacy, no discussion of qualifications, no discussion of the reasoning, nothing. Now, you tell me why that would be, because nobody can tell me. I can't tell you. I have no idea what's going on. But let me tell you about the man who says he drove this appointment. Let's pull this up. Pfluger. Look at Pfluger. So this person right here. Pfluger voted chairman of U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. All right. Pfluger said, Chairman Pfluger, I am truly humbled to serve as the next chairman of the U.S. Air Force Academy's Board of Visitors. My mission as chairman is to ensure the Academy not only executes its leadership development, but also continually improves it so our cadets are prepared for the challenges of tomorrow. We will never know when or where the next conflict will arise, or even what type of warfare it will involve. But we do know this: our cadets must be ready to lead in any environment, to think critically, and to have the grit to overcome adversity. And this is him with Charlie Kirk. This is on my thumbnail. It's Charlie. Now, Pfluger is Texas's 11th congressional representative district of that representative of the 11th district. U.S. AFA class of 2000. He's an F-15C and F-22A pilot, 20 years of active duty, 2,000 flight hours, 300 combat hours. He flew combat missions. He served as a senior director of the National Security Council in Trump's first term. In the 119th Congress, he sits on Energy and Commerce and chairs the Homeland Security Subcommittee on Counterterrorism and Intelligence. He is also the chairman of the Republican Study Committee, which is the largest House caucus, and he chairs the Board of Visitors. He's the chairman. Pfluger released a statement the same day, okay, of Erika when she appeared on that website. And the exact language is that I encouraged this appointment months ago. Erika is the right person to fill Charlie's place on the board and continue his work of inspiring the next generation of service members and advancing the academy. I mean, I don't understand how this could possibly be. How is that how is this? Let me show you guys something in case you might have forgotten. Because this person, to me, does not seem to be the one that should be doing this. But I'm going to show you, I'm going to give you a nice example. I don't know if it's nice, but I'll give you an example of the person that is on this position here. So you can see, I guess I have this. I guess we could show this. This is the person. Let's look at this person right here.
He chose to use his voice for something so powerful. And I want you guys to understand that every decision will make a mark on your soul. It will. So as a young man, know that one day you're going to be a father.
This is
people that allowed this to happen.
Something that's so important, when, even with understanding the character on the internet.
And you know, we don't have to look. It's not just this. You can watch her speak at any event. She's not like this great, like motivational speaker. I have no idea what she's doing in this position. How does everyone come to the same conclusion that she is the person for this position? That she's going to help keep America safe and keep cadets in the right frame of mind to go to war? What is that? Is she going to throw fireworks and glitter all over them as they come out of the academy? He encouraged this months ago. How many months ago? He didn't say. He just said months ago. What was it? 1 month? 3 months? Was it before February 19th when the AOG voted to defer the honorary degree question to the board of visitors? Or was it after? Months ago is at least 2 months, right? Did he? I think months ago is 3, 4, 5 months. So as soon as Charlie died, what I think it is that as soon as Charlie died, they were like, what are we going to do about our seat, our position? Let's do Erika Kirk. She's the perfect person for this. Let's do that. Oh, because what? She's the CEO of Turning Point. Was it before or after that she became the CEO? Who knows? Did he know the AOG vote was coming? I don't know. I'm asking the question because if Pfluger was pushing for this appointment at the same time, the AOG was deciding to punt the Kirk recognition question to the BOV, that context matters enormously, and nobody's asked about it. I mean, is this too nuts and bolts? Because this is what shapes our political atmosphere. These are the nuts and bolts. These decisions, these people, these appointments. The Association of Graduates voted 12-0 on February 19th to defer to the Board of Visitors. And then that man that I just showed you his website and said, whatever he said, that he's been pushing for Erika Kirk, he's the chairman. So remember when I said earlier that the Board of Visitors doesn't have the full power to make a decision? So the Associate of Graduates for the USAFA, the Air Force Academy, they decided unanimously to let the board decide. Now, did they know, or however they got to that vote, did they know that the chairman had pushed for her to be in that position months ago? Do you see how all of this seems fake and gay? Everything about this, everything about TPUSA, Erika Kirk, and all of the shit after Charlie died is fake and gay to me. It's all ridiculously stupid. I don't even know how to explain it. It's so ridiculous. The conflict has no legal remedy. That's the bombshell. The part of the story that should be covered on every newspaper in America, every news channel, every social media account talking about Erika Kirk right now is, instead of getting 3 paragraphs buried about why is she the person, what should be talked about is the Association of Graduates voting 12-0 to defer to the Board of Visitors of Charlie Kirk's recognition, their own email saying we defer to the judgment on recognition to the Board of Visitors, which means a formal recommendation on whether Charlie Kirk receives posthumous recognition from the Air Force Academy, potentially including recommendation for an honorary degree that only one other person in the institution's history has ever received, a president, is now in the hands of the Board of Visitors. Erika Kirk is now on the Board of Visitors. She will potentially vote on whether her own dead husband receives an honor from a school he never attended and never graduated from. And the part that should make every legal scholar in this country do more research on this, which I researched the legal remedies exhaustively. Here's the answer, okay? The FACA, the Federal Advisory Committee Act, which governs the BOV, the Board of Visitors, prescribes no conflict of interest requirements for advisory committee members. 0, no conflict. That comes directly from the Administrative Conference of the United States, sourcebook.acus.gov, okay? FACA has extensive requirements for transparency, balanced membership, and public access. It has nothing in conflicts of interest for individual members. The main federal conflict of interest statute, 18 USC 208, covers special government employees serving on advisory committees and requires disqualification from matters with a direct and predictable effect on their financial interests. But an honorary degree for a deceased spouse is not a financial interest on its face. The statute is about money. It does not cover personal and reputational conflicts. Doesn't it always come back to money? The BOV bylaws, available at the website usafa.edu, contain no recusal procedures. So a majority vote rule is the only way to recuse something. I searched for a precedent. I found nothing. There might be one, but I didn't find it. There is no case in the history of any service, academy, board of visitors that I could find where a member faced this type of conflict. None. The scenario was not anticipated. Nobody planned for it. There's no legal mechanism to force her to step aside from any vote involving her husband's recognition. None. Now, I'm not making it a legal conclusion here, but I am a guy who likes to read documents and present the evidence. I will ask you this. If a judge's family member was a party in a case before that judge, we have recusal rules. If a congressman has a financial stake in legislation, we have disclosure rules. If a corporate director has a personal interest in a board decision, say you make money off of a decision, or for example, like Turning Point USA, well, if we go with Jake Hoffman's company, we could all get a cut because Jake will just kick us 10% on the side. That's a fiduciary duty. These are rules. But if the widow of a man who was proposed for a posthumous honor at a federal institution sits on the advisory body that now has to vote on that honor, there is no rule. There's no mechanism. There's no remedy. She can vote and nobody can stop her. I'm just reading you the law, and it has a gap so large you could fly an F-22 straight through it. And the person standing on the other side of that gap is Erika Kirk. Now, here, I'm going to actually do something real quick. I'm going to pull something up. Let's see. Let me pull up this right here. So we have her Wikipedia, so we can look at who they say She is. All right. Okay. Oops. All right. Okay. So, in the meantime, we'll pull this up. So this is Erika Lane Kirk, Erika Fronsby, businesswoman, an American businesswoman, nonprofit executive, and podcaster. Isn't that interesting? I would love to go to the archive, archives.org. Let's put this in here. I want to see what it said a few months ago. Erika Kirk, Wikipedia. How do we do that? I don't use that often. Let's see, metadata, en, wikipedia.org. How about Wikipedia, Erika Kirk? Nothing? Really? Did they take this down? Let me see. How is that? Really? Let me see. No way. Interesting. Maybe I just don't know how to use this thing. Wow. Okay. Nothing on Erika Kirk in the archive, the Wayback Machine. That's interesting. Okay. All right. Fair enough. Well, the thing is this, is we have to think about the financial interest of Charlie Kirk getting posthumously placed as on an honorary posthumous for the USAFA. Okay. So how can, let's do this. I want to get some information on this actually, because I think it's important. I'm going to ask my AI all the things. Financial interest from Charlie posthumous coming into USAFA. Let's see if we can do that. Boom. Here we go. Let's see what it says. And you have to think like, that's where I'm thinking is how can they benefit? How can they actually make money from this? When I'm thinking about conflicts of interest, I'm thinking about how this could possibly benefit Erika Kirk and TPUSA. Benefit Erika Kirk and TPUSA if her being on the board of visitors and Charlie gets posthumous recognition. Let's see what it says. So a posthumous honorary degree from the Air Force Academy does not just make Erika Kirk feel good about her husband's legacy, it amplifies the commercial and institutional value of everything attached to his name. Every book with the cover quote referencing the honor, every TPUSA fundraising event or email that says our founder was recognized by the United States Air Force Academy, every documentary that opens with that credential, every speaking booking made in his name, every speaking booking made in his name, every donor who gives because the Academy validated what he stood for. That is not a personal reputational interest. This is a financial interest with a direct, predictable effect on who controls the estate and runs the organization. Now, here's the legal question, and that gets genuinely interesting because I'm not a lawyer, but let's see. The main federal conflict, it covers special government employees serving on an advisory committee. The argument that makes things interesting is the honorary degree is not a financial interest because it's just an honor. That argument does not hold up, though, once you map the financial flows of Turning Point USA and the interest of their future financially. Donors, books, speaking events, turnouts, voting. The commercial value of the Charlie Kirk brand is leveled up with his honorary recognition. This is a documented financial interest. TPUSA's fundraising capacity is a financial interest tied directly to her compensation as CEO. Whether a federal prosecutor at the Department of Justice would reach the same conclusion or not, I don't know. But I'm going to tell you, as a guy who reads documents, Charlie Kirk levels up being recognized by the Air Force Academy, getting an honorary award or whatever, okay, recognition. This can go into every single pamphlet, email, everything. Think about that. Taking advantage of her. So she's going to get to vote. I guarantee you she's going to get to vote, and she will vote. That is just so crazy, you guys. And the person standing on the other side of this gap, Erika Kirk, how much is it's never enough. I will ask you what I ask every time we hit a moment like this. If a federal judge had, if anybody had some financial, I've been documenting so this is going to give me something to look forward to on content on TPUSA. But if the widow of a man proposed for posthumous military institutional honors, who controls his estate, she controls his brand, his publishing royalties, his media assets, and who is the CEO of the organization that receives financial benefits from his institutional interest and legitimization, she sits on the federal advisory body voting on whether to recommend those honors. That is so crazy. You know, we can go in. There's so much more to cover. You know how long we've been going? And almost 2 hours. So that is really the bulk of it. The man that died, the wife that amplified his death into a money stream. That's all I see. That is really the breaking story of all of this. Not the fact that she's got the position. It's the fact that she's about to level up again. Not only from BB, not only from the $1 billion Pierre, whoever the hell. It's each one stacking and stacking and stacking. It's like poker chips, but she never loses a hand. Pete Hegseth actually has a documented relationship as well with Turning Point USA. Not alleged, not speculatively. He's documented. Hegseth was featured day one as a speaker at Turning Point USA's Student Action Summit in Tampa, Florida. This is in the TPUSA public event record. He appeared as a speaker at the largest annual conservative youth gathering in the country, actually. And Hegseth personally introduced TPUSA's alternative Super Bowl halftime show, if you remember that. These are all Department of War, Department of Defense, military, Erika Kirk, Board of Visitors, United States Air Force Academy. Think about it. Now, think about, here's more context. You have the Air Force Academy currently experiencing a simultaneously triple leadership transition. You've got Lieutenant General Tony Barnfield, Barnfiend, the superintendent of the Air Force Academy, USAFA class of 1991, requested retirement. His departure is imminent. Brigadier General Gavin Marks, the commander of cadets, he's retiring this year, or if he hasn't already. The position of Dean of Faculty has been vacant since 2025 May. Colonel Valpiani, class of 04, was nominated to fill it. The retired Colonel Marty France. I mean, there's so many things here, guys. Now Erika Kirk, CEO of Turning Point USA, the organization that was holding those unapproved meetings, sits on the federally mandated body with full physical access to all of the institution's information, meetings, what happens, disclosure, problems, straight from the Secretary of the Air Force, and presumably any problems related to unapproved political club activity. And that also goes about what TPUSA gets their paws in next. Welcome to Jayu, new member. Good to see you, Kermi. Yeah, become a member if you want to join the Fridays Danksters. Welcome, Kermi, Kiermi. Linda, what's up, my new? Hey, good to see you. Love all the info danks everyone needs to know. Absolutely. You're welcome. Thanks for the super chat. Welcome, Brooke. Welcome, Tanya. Welcome, Jen. Billy Girl. Welcome. Billy Girly Girl. Welcome, Mr. and Mrs. Riley. Lori, good to see you. No one will vote against it because she has ties to Boston. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what it's looking like. Ah, man, this is so crazy. Let me see if I can find some coverage. Erika Kirk, Board of Visitors, USAFA. Let's see who else is talking about it. USA Today put out something short. This is the National Desk. Really? Let me see what this super chat or this comment says. Let me find the comment here. Where is that message? Right here. Let me see. You said, I don't know if I see that. Let me go back. Where does it say that? 1988. Okay. It doesn't say that. It says an American businesswoman. Wiki Erika Fronsvy. Okay, so look up Erika Fronsvy. Erika Fronsvy. Yeah, it doesn't say that, bro. What are you talking about? I would have known this already. Spreading propaganda. We need truth, bro. I typed in there's nothing about Jews here. So whatever. Don't need it. Thanks, Honey Buns. Appreciate you. I'm just gonna be calling you Honey Buns from now on. Yeah, I just pulled up the site. I mean, I don't see anything about that, so trying to throw us off track. It's gonna get changed real quick. No, it's not there. That's not there. Let me look at I was on YouTube. I got a little bit of time if you guys want to hang out. Past edit, it was like that Erika Fronsvy. I mean, I can't find it. If there's a link for it, you can put a link in the comments. Archive Erika Fronsvy. Kirk. Try to find it. Thanks for the super sticker. Appreciate it. Thanks for the super chat, Lori. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, it all says American. I can't believe it's all of a sudden American businesswoman. How crazy is that? That is something else, isn't it? Erika Kirk Archives. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even care about that, to be honest. All right. Let's see what the National Desk has to say.
President Trump has appointed Erika Kirk to serve on the U.S. Air Force Academy Board of Visitors. The CEO of Turning Point USA, joining over a dozen others who also serve on the board, including DHS Secretary nominee Mark Wayne Mullen. The National News Desk, Jeff Harris, joins us. In this move, Jeff, it was done a bit quietly with no official social media post or press release. What more can you tell us?
So we know Kirk will join around 16 board members who are responsible for inquiring into the Academy's morale, curriculum, and financial affairs.
What's up, Brett? I saw that yesterday. Tried to let you know about Zach's live stream yesterday, but YouTube's blocking my comments again on Greg Lake. I saw it. Thank you for the super chat. I saw that you dropped his name. I saw that you dropped the website. I actually have the. Let me show you. I pulled up the post that you put on there. I have the picture right here somewhere. Let's see. Was it yesterday? Yeah, it was yesterday. Right here. Shout out to the homie. She put a super chat. New son. I saw your comment, geofencing. Yeah, so apparently Zach's been talking about geofencing and all of this manipulation of AI and stuff. So she told him the Americans for Nonprofit Transparency. What's great is if you just type in Americans for Nonprofit Transparency website, ours comes up. It's like the only option here. Oh, why does it do that? I hate that it does that. It like gave a summary. Oh, here it is. An independent educational platform. Oh, damn. We got an AI overview. That's dope. That analyzes public records to track foreign influence, lobbying, and money pipelines in the U.S. nonprofit sector. They focus on investigations derived from IRS Form 990s, DOJ Fair. Damn, we're making some. I got the logo finally to track in the index. Look at that. This is pretty cool. We are gaining ground here, you guys. This is what change looks like. It doesn't all happen at once. What happens is it happens over time with people trying to make a difference. This is me trying to make a difference. The little bit of a difference I can try to make. I happen to be able to code and do things with AI and do things quickly. And I know how to do sourcing. And I think that it's important that you should know that this website has 50,000 users. Okay. It already in the first month, we have 50,000 users. And not daily. We have like 500 a day right now. But it's growing. It was big when I first posted it and Candace retweeted it. Shout out to Candace. Window Wolves and Finance releases Gaza video. That was October. I think it was like a month after Charlie died. Talking about timelines. He made that video after Charlie died. Shortly after. Interesting. So yeah, we're getting the shout outs here. We're getting a lot of love from the internet.
She will also fill the seat that was held by her late husband, Charlie Kirk.
Hey, K-Jam, what's up, bro? Good to see you, dog.
Who was appointed by Trump in March of 2025. While there was no official social media post or press release announcing this move, Kirk is now listed on the board's website under its members section. She joined Senator Tommy Tuberville, among others, appointed by President Trump. Now, a White House spokesperson saying Trump made the, quote, perfect choice selecting Kirk to fill the seat previously held by her late husband. Erika Kirk will continue his legacy and will be a fearless advocate for the most elite air power force in the history of the world.
Yeah, I've said this already, man. Where is it? Absolutely. Look, you can. I. When people say make better voting, like Bays, God bless him. He said we got to vote, and it starts local. The problem is when you are infested with money making decisions. Okay, you can't vote your way out of this situation. There's no voting your way out of it. Doesn't matter if they're good today. You go into political office, you would have to have someone very strong-willed. If I went in, I would have to go in and dodge every single person that tries to give me money for their agenda. And then if you don't take their money, they give it to somebody else and they pour money into a campaign against you. You can't change it with voting. You have to make it illegal to do any of that. Campaigning and lobbying and all this shit should be illegal. This country is falling apart because of lobbyists. When you have people taking money on behalf of any other foreign agenda besides what they came into office for and who they were voted for to be by the American people, by the people that voted them in. And then they get in and they're just like, oh my gosh, like $600,000 from AIPAC. Like, how can I say no? This would change our lives. We could pay off our house. We could pay off our car. Well, yeah, you're selling your soul. You're buying your house while selling out your neighborhood, your country, your city, your state, your whatever. You're selling us out. That's what it is. They're buying us from you with that lobby money. I don't care if it's AIPAC. I don't care if it's the gun lobby. I don't care if it's the medical lobby. I don't care if it's pharmacy. I don't care. They should all be banned from lobbying, because at that point, you can't trust anybody, right? That's why I built this site. That's why I added, I'm losing my voice. That's why I added to the site that's why I added this stuff to the site. The money pipeline, AIPAC, and then you see who's on it and who they're attacking. Okay, look at AIPAC. 231 named top donors on track AIPAC. 1,336 individuals' contributions to UDP. 75.8 million total from the top 231 donors. You've got the three arms of AIPAC. Why every American should care. This is not about Israel. This is about your democracy. AIPAC Super PAC spent $14.7 million in a single house race to defeat an elected representative. They endorsed hundreds of election deniers and anti-abortion candidates. Their top donors included Republican billionaires funding a Democratic super PAC to pick which Democrats get to run. When 60% of a super PAC's donors are corporate CEOs and only 4% of the candidates they oppose have executive donors, this isn't grassroots politics. This is corporate capture of American elections. As former Congressman Andy Levin warned, this may have been pioneered by AIPAC, but Big Pharma isn't stupid. The tobacco industry isn't stupid. The fossil fuel industry isn't stupid. Why won't they just say, great idea, AIPAC. We will pick the nominee of both parties. Who's really funding this? Corporate donor profile. 60% of UDP donors are CEOs. 55% came from 43 donors, giving $200,000 or more. So 55%, which is 25.5 million, came from the certain 43 people. 26% top, this is just AIPAC, 200K are primarily Republicans or Trump donors. And then you've got the top donors here. And I said it in my stream yesterday about, or the day before, about whatever it was. I think it was yesterday before, about the Saudi prince and the assassination of Khashoggi and the surveillance state. So I'll probably have to call back that person. So yeah, I mean, WhatsApp founder, CEO is the top donor. Then you got Miriam Adelson, Jonathan Jacobson, Bernard Marcus. I mean, these Paul Singer, hedge fund, the media mogul from Power Rangers donating to AIPAC. Yeah, your favorite Power Ranger dudes. Yeah, they're owned and operated from a AIPAC donor, a big ass AIPAC donor. So they paid $14 million to oppose Bowman because he wasn't aligning with AIPAC. They gave $1.3 million directly to Latimer. They paid $4 million plus against Andy Levin from one of the America's most prominent Jewish political families defeated after redistricting. His offense, criticizing illegal settlements and supporting two-state solutions, stated U.S. policy. This site is incredible, you guys. AmericansForTransparency.org. You got to go. Wolf said MBS is a decent family man. That journalist was he didn't even say that dismembered already. Yeah. Wolves in Finance said MBS is a decent family man with great political ideas. But that same person was involved, allegedly, in the dismemberment of a U.S. journalist who used to be a Saudi journalist. MBS, why are you leaving? Why is this? This is not about him today. But why is this dude leaving out pertinent information to an investigation when he claims to be preaching for truth? searching for truth? I question that. And anybody who questions my integrity for calling him out, it's not my responsibility to do his work for him. I don't need to email him to ask him his opinion on this. He's very clear about it. I don't need to reach out for comment, which I did. He didn't respond. I don't need to do any of that mess. What he needs to do is actually do what real reporters do and give all of the information, not 5% of it. And just because you put out some quality information about Turning Point USA's finances doesn't credit you permanently to be a speaker on all of these things for truth. In fact, it gives you an opportunity to take advantage of people. And that's what I see happening. My opinion, Zach from Wolves of Finance is taking advantage of people who don't do their own research and gives them information to make them think a certain thing about a certain person. So instead of when MBS shows up again, or if they see him on TV, they'll be like, oh, that's the guy that Wolves of Finance said is a good family man. But when I tell you, you know that this person is allegedly involved in an assassination against a journalist inside of their own consulate in Turkey. Then they cut him up with a bone saw and they threw him. Dude, they ordered 70 pounds of meat that night. And they found you got to go see the movie. You got to go rent the movie, The Dissident. It's on Amazon. It's $4. It'll tell you everything you need to know. It's a documentary. You have grown men crying, not fake tears like Erika Kirk. So anyways, I'm tired of all that stuff. We're tired about all that stuff. We're tiffing about wasn't finance in the chat. There's differing opinions. Who cares? There's no need to tiff. Let people go watch the content and let them consume it. And you can come to my channel and you can watch the content and you can consume it and you can make your own opinion. But don't judge me for telling the truth. Judge somebody. You can if you want, but don't be mad at me for it. Be mad at yourself if you don't want to hear it. That's not a problem about me. That's a problem with you. That's a problem with you. Don't argue with them in the chat, you guys, because they don't want to see the truth. They want to say all of these other things. I don't care. I care about the truth. I don't care what you have to say. I don't care what anybody has. I don't care about the truth. Okay? And that's all I'll ever care about. So on that note, I mean, I don't know. I think that's good for the day. I appreciate everybody being here. Sausage Biscuits always dropping the good bars. That's why I'm telling you, man, if people realize that if they demanded campaign, finance, form, how it would pull the Jenga bar and F so much of their, yeah, absolutely. So, you know, and it's not just me either. Like they said, there's a lot of people that try to tell truth and then they get discredited, you know, maybe because they had some political view, some side they were on or whatever. Facts over feelings, receipts over drama. I might convey the information in a dramatic way because I'm passionate, but at the end of the day, it's just facts. And it's dramatic because it's truth. And you're not used to hearing truth these days. So you might be dramatized or feel traumatized. You're not used to hearing the truth. Unfortunately, that's the day we live in. There's not enough truth. Oh, look, someone said that. There's not enough truth tellers. Thanks for being one. You're welcome. Love you guys, man. If you're like, I love all of you across the world, but if you're American, especially, like, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm with you. I'm right here. I'm not going anywhere. I got a job. I'm doing a contract, but I'll be doing this. I'm not going anywhere. So just know that no matter what, like, you are right to have your own opinion. You're right to say whatever you want. This is freedom of speech. You say whatever you want. That's why I say I don't care, because everybody has their right. At the end of the day, you have the right to do and say whatever you want. But if you want to criticize me for telling you the truth, then you might need to look at something else. about how you're getting mad at me for telling you the truth, or how you believe I should handle the truth. How I'm going to handle the truth is the same way that Zach handles the truth. He puts it out to the world to see. So will I, except I will deliver the full truth, at least as much as I know it. And there's no way that somebody like him, who is in the middle of doing some, I'm not going to air his dirty laundry out, whether he wants the people or no or not, it's up to him. But he's in the middle of something that involves knowing a lot of stuff and being very smart with a lot of money involved. Okay. You don't get to that point of going through that process that he's involved in without doing a lot of research on numbers, research on people, research on the history of all of these things. You don't get there to his point that he's at in a certain particular place in his life today, in his local area or wherever he's at, without being smart and intelligent. So to me, it appears, in my opinion, that he is leaving things out on purpose. Another great show. Thanks for the super chat, Yuli Joan. $10, make a holler. Another great show, great content. Look forward to sharing my thoughts with you on Frank Turek's phone screen in the future. Are you a member? Come join us on Friday. It's only 99 cents. I wish I could give you one. I would, but click the join button. If you're on your phone, it's going to charge you on Apple 30% more. But become a member. It's $1. And then you can hang out with us on Friday members only live streams. And then we can talk about it. We have a great time in there. Can you tell me how to join my new thing? What are you talking about? What new thing? You can join my Patreon. It's $5. You just go to the link that's scrolling right now underneath, patreon.com/originaldankster.com, or you can become a member on YouTube. Those are the only two things I have. I have another Discord for Americans for Nonprofit Transparency, but it's kind of empty right now because I'm not there yet. People can join it and talk, but everyone keeps tagging me and asking me. I don't have time. Guys, you tag me and you put a whole wall of text that takes me like 40 minutes to read. I'm not going to read it. I do not have the time. So if you want to join, you can join. If you join my paid Discord, the only reason it's paid is because there were a lot of people that were being rude and disrespectful that joined my server. So I had to put a wall on it. It's $5 minimum. There's other levels of 5, like 10, $20 if you want to support more. But we do have another one. If you guys want to join, I can send you the invite. Americans for Nonprofit Transparency. Here, I'll put the link here. So when you join, you can, I'll put the link in the chat and I'll stay on for a little bit longer if you want to join the Discord. This one, but I'm not in here. Okay. So I need you to know I am very rarely in here, but if you guys want to get together and talk about transparency and the website, official Discord, you can do that. You're more than welcome to join that. Okay. Let's end this. 391 votes. So I'll stick around for a minute. People can click the pinned message. I just changed it. So it's AFNPT official Discord. The link is in there. You can join, pick your role, verify. I don't even know if you have to verify. I made that one super easy. So you can come hang out. And then I'll be in and out if I see people are in there talking and stuff. But don't tag me with like thousands of letters of research. I'm just not going to look at it. I'm going to have to start telling you guys I can't do it anymore. I got so many people emailing. I have some people emailing me like 5, 7 times. I'm telling you, I have some people emailing me 5 times a day with like pages of information. I just can't. What do you want from me? Hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, you guys. How many likes we got? So, again, I'm here. I'm with you. I'm going to be updating the website soon. There's some things they're going to be doing. There's a grassroots movement we are actually doing, led by one of my moderators, one of the people I trust in the community. She used to be a Zionist. And she's in her 50s or 60s now. And she had recently been waking up for the last few years. And she was surrounded by Zionists. And then she found a home in my personal Discord. Now, that Discord I sent you that I pinned in the chat is not my personal Discord. It's my organization's Discord, but there's not any activity that's been going on. I'd love to get more stuff going on in conversation. I'm happy to. If I see that people are chatting in there, please just have your discourse. And then I can make moderators and people that want to be a part of the ecosystem start organizing. We have an email that we're going to be sending out to pastors all over the country. We have QR codes that are going to be printing out, putting on flyers, teaching people about geofencing. If you want to be a part of that, if you want to be a part of the decision making, you need to join the Patreon. That's how you do that. Okay. All right, guys. We got some more memberships. Jules gifted 5 memberships. Thank you, Jules. Good to see you. Say thank you to Jules if you got a membership. And we got a new member, Angela Gates. Thank you for joining. All right. Is that it? Anything else? What was the vote on the... where was the vote at? Right before Angela. The money pipeline. Yeah, this is a person's dropping bangers, bro. That tells you who owns your politician and who they are voting for you. Don't need to listen to a word they say in any speech or any campaign. You're right. You are right. I guess it's right here. So, for the sake of television, did you know that Charlie Kirk was involved in USA Air Force politics? Yes or no? 92% said no with 391 votes. It's a lot of votes. All right, guys. Love you all. I'll see you in the next one. Live stream tomorrow is going to be about the Board of Peace, the new version of the United Nations ran by billionaires, oil, money, and technocrats. I'll see you tomorrow. You don't want to miss it. It's going to be a good one. Peace.